G'day everyone, Phil at QB Dent Free. Today we're looking at a decent little crease in the corner of this Mazda. These guys have actually been putting up with the damage on their car for quite a while, because they thought it was going to be a big invasive job to get this thing fixed. These flexible caterpillar tabs, they're going to conform perfectly to the shape of that dent, even though we've got a lot of Bodyline, we've got a lot of contour in the panel there to work with. We're using a combination of the K-bar and the K-beam here. We're going to be able to pull the bulk of that damage out. The first thing we want to do on a repair like this is always to clean the panel, make sure we're not hiding anything underneath there, but also prepare that panel for a really good bond when it comes to gluing these tabs on. Using Cam Auto for the glue on today's repair, because I want to get a lot of power out of these tabs, but I also want to be able to hold a little bit of pressure. Pressing that down, and as it conforms, we haven't quite got even squeeze out around the tab, so I'm going to add a little bit just in the corner there to make sure there is that really good seal all the way around the tab. Using the original blue Kiko material as opposed to the ice material, for this one particular pull, you can see how well this softer materials conform to the shape. Quite a lot of twist, there's quite a lot of curve. So just find something nice and solid here. I'm not going to pull this very hard, so I'm not overly worried about using the edge of the panel. But if you are concerned, if you are really going to be yanking on this, then perhaps levering off the tyre is a better option. Here we are, just a little bit of pressure, you can see how well that moves. I think I'm going to come in now with a dead centre tab, make sure I hit the middle of that crease. That'll pull some of that tightness, that really sharp, very pronounced crease out of it. And we want to let that thing cool down to around that roughly 26 degrees Celsius before we're going to pull that. But as it cools down, we can just take a minute to set up the K-beam for this pull. Not pulling any pressure on it just yet, but we are just getting set up. There we are, that's come down to around that 28 degrees. So I'm happy to start winding a bit of pressure onto the dent there. A couple of winds on the K-beam. We'll start to pull that dent out. But we've still got all of this metal underneath here that's protruding, that lower crown. That's still locking that dent in place. So with a little bit of pressure, pulling out on the centre of that dent, I can come in around the K-beam and just address some of those crowns. Having cleaned that up a little bit now, I'll come in with some of these dead centre crease tabs. Just through here on the inside edge of that Bodyline is very deep, very, very sharp. Let's see if I can get the bottom of that to start moving with one of these crease tabs. This crease killer setup's just going to help to hold the excess metal on the outside of the dent here, as well as making sure we're pulling just that very sharp little pit in the centre. Just wind a little bit of tension onto that tab, get the feet where you want them to be, and then just pull a little bit of pressure. Very nice. So this Bodyline's back almost exactly where it needs to be. And I'll just continue this process. I'll just keep putting the crease tabs in the deepest section of the dent as I work all the way down. As we really get down into the details on this, I do swap out some of those tabs from the crease tab down to these little 5, 7, 9mm hail style round tabs. Accuracy becomes really important in these final little detail steps. You have to make sure you do hit the centre of the crease where you're actually aiming for. That's where your light comes in handy. When you're right up here next to the panel trying to place that tab, you're not hunting around for that perfect reflection. You're not looking for the post on the hoist that you might be able to see that dent in. And because you're going to be hitting that crease right in the centre of that low, you're not having to pull quite so many times. If you miss that centre, you pull just one side of the crease a little bit unevenly, then you have to knock that down. You've still got a low in the middle that you haven't pulled yet, so you have to put the tab on again, try and hit the centre again. But if you just hit it the first time, take a bit of time placing that tab down, get your light reflection, everything right, it's going to cut your work time way, way down. Making really good progress on this Mazda crease. It's at a nice push to paint level now where you could block it, just put a very, very fine skim of filler in it. We're shooting for a full PDR on this. So I pulled the flare off it here. That gives us these little access holes. I can come in there with just a small push tool like this. And that's just about it from me on the Mazda quarter panel. We've walked through those couple of different levels of repair. We had that initial rough out from those big glue pull, those big tabs that we used there. We refined that down to another level by using the small crease tabs. And then once we'd taken that as far as we could, switched into pushing behind it with the tool to make sure we've got that perfect result in the end. If you like what you've seen here today and you want to see some more, book a demo. We're going to include some details down below on how you can do that. There'll be a link you can click on and schedule a demo to see some of these techniques in person or via Zoom. Thank you guys for watching and hanging around. We'll see you on the next one.